Okay, first of all, I just want to thank everyone who already contributed generously to our campaign today. If anyone would still like to contribute to the $150,000 fundraiser, we're trying to hit the 50% mark before the lights go out tonight, so we still have a good amount of ways to get there. So if you'd like to help us, please let me know. If you prefer to pay cash or check, we can do that as well. You don't have to pay credit card. And please see me after davening or give me a call later, and we'll take care of that. Thank you very much for all your help. We're holding over here in Orchos Yosher, SIMCHA shel mitzvah, the joy that a person has in mitzvahs. And he says, V'chein kosev b'chazanish, the Chazanish said, Shekol mitzvah chayiv kol adam al kol panim pamachas b'chayiv l'kaimai. Every mitzvah that we have in the Torah, a person should have in mind that at least once in their life, they're going to fulfill that mitzvah. Which means that we understand there are certain mitzvahs that don't come around that often. They don't happen in the regular run of things. But, says the Chazanish, a person should try their best in their lifetime to fulfill every single mitzvah that they're capable, like it says in the Torah. Chutz mishiluach haken, except for shooing away the mother bird from the nest. Shemiyat takra, because the pasuk over there, as he's going to say later on, it says that you can only really do the mitzvah of shiluach haken if you come by chance, you come upon a nest. So therefore, it's not something that you could actively go and pursue. It's not something that you're obligated, only if by chance you come upon a nest and there's a mother bird and there's eggs, you do it. So therefore, if that's the one mitzvah that you'll miss in your life, even though there's many ways, and Rav Chaim himself seemed to be quite makpid that people should try to do it, however, that would be the only one. L'chein, roy l'yireh shamayim. Therefore says, I believe now he's saying himself, therefore it says, l'chein roy l'yireh shamayim, to anyone that has the fear of Hashem, l'ishtadel l'kaim gam ha'mitzvah shein shchichos. They should try their best to fulfill the mitzvahs, which are not very common, rare mitzvahs. For example, could go in Reishis Hagez, the shearing, the first shearings of the wool of a sheep, umatonois, and that when you after you shech the animal, certain parts of the animal are going to be given to the kohen as a gift. Upinyan petach hamor, the redemption of the firstborn. If anybody will remember, it must be almost about 10 years ago here in Los Angeles. There was pigeon petach hamor. If you recall this, when we went out to Or Eliyahu, where they redeemed the firstborn donkey. We went out to Or Eliyahu that day. I think many of you came. It was a very big event. Yes?
Yes, they went.
No. Okay. The next one. Yeah, the next one. So it was quite a gathering. Almost the entire city was there, and it's such a rarity. People try to do it. Upeo v'leka v'shicha v'aylalos, all different things that a person leaves over in the field, the things that he leaves over for the poor. The kol ki'agam, all similar types of mitzvahs that are difficult to come by, that are very rare. If a person loves mitzvahs, so then they will chase after every single mitzvah that they possibly can. There are people that have in their homes a map. And on those maps are thumbtacks. And those thumbtacks are exactly in the place where they traveled somewhere in the world. So the more thumbtacks that are on the map, so the more that this person shows you that they are a lover of travel. So you walk into the house and there's a map, and there it is, thumbtacks all over the place. And they'll tell you, we went here, we went there, we went here, we went there, remember we went down the aisles, all the different things. It's just a dream, it's gone. It was the minute they got back on the plane and came back to the grind, all that money, everything that they did, the whole vacation was gone. But they love to travel, so they think. So therefore they want to show to everybody that comes into their house, look at all the places that I travel. A person, I remember had a friend once whose grandfather, his big thing was cinnamon buns. Okay? He was an Israeli fellow. His grandson, he wanted to give over the Masorah to his grandson. So what's the Masorah? You wake up Sunday morning, you drive around town, and you find every cinnamon bun in every single restaurant and bakery that you can, because we love cinnamon buns. So he chased after every single one and had to find the best of all. If a person loves mitzvahs, So they can't leave a single stone of mitzvah observance unturned. And therefore they will chase after every mitzvah, even the ones that are very difficult to come by, because the chance to be able to be mekayim, to fulfill that mitzvah, is something you don't want to give up. V'chein kosev, we'll finish with this, V'chein kosev ma'aser Rav, u'b'toises ma'aser Rav, speaks about the Vilna Gaon. There's a sefer that speaks about all of the hanhagas, all the ways in which the Vilna Gaon used to approach his mitzvahs. Sha'agra, kana eiz mevakeres v'nasan ha'bechor l'kain. The Vilna Gaon once bought a goat, and it was pregnant with the Bechor, and he gave the Bechor, the firstborn, to the Kain. V'shachet egel v'nasan ha'matanos. He shechted the egel, he shechted the calf, and he gave the parts that belonged to the Kain to the Kain. V'nata sham ilan, ubikesh mechashidin l'karki. He didn't have any land of his own, so he asked somebody, could you please give me a little piece of your land, arba amas al arba amas, 4 by 4, the matan as a gift. V'nata sham ilan, he planted a fruit tree. V'kiyam shalosh shanim orla v'shana revis net the ravai. And that way, because he was able to plant a tree, there's laws with the tree. There's orla the first 3 years, the 4th year net the ravai. He bought a wheat field and he left over the pay of the corners for the poor. He was mekayim the other things. Ayin Sham. So the Vilna Gaon, who was a man who loved mitzvahs, right? We know that on his deathbed the Vilna Gaon was crying, and they said, Rebbe, what are you crying about? You're going into the world to come. You're the master of Torah. You're going to have such a big portion. And he lifted up his tzitzis and he said, because for a few kopecks in this world, I could perform mitzvahs. In the world to come, you can't do mitzvahs. So he loved mitzvahs. So therefore he paid money, spent his time, he took his effort to be able to fulfill all the mitzvahs that he possibly could. If a person loves mitzvahs, so no matter how much time, no matter how much effort, no matter how much money nothing gets in the way. He's happy to go and do it. So too, as we see from the world around us, the things that people love, nothing gets in the way. They'll drive through traffic to make it to the final game. They'll go through the crowds, squeeze in like this. There's beer all over the place. There's people screaming and yelling, hoo-haing everywhere. Your ears are going to bust off your head. But people will do it because they have to go see the big game. So the big game really is any single mitzvah that a person can be mekayim. If we do that in Praise Hashem, will be known in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as someone that is sameach mitzvahs. He rejoices in the mitzvahs.